This is our in-depth look that's not so in-depth. The Lumix BS1H. Let's take the S1H, my favourite full-frame camera currently, and put it into a tiny box and take off loads of the features. Now, what do you think about that?
Okay.
Really, you should take the screen off as well, shouldn't we? I mean...
Well, that's... Funny enough, the people at Panasonic went, how about the S1H? Wait a minute. Let's take everything off.
Yes.
No, to be fair to this little guy, it is a beast.
Yeah.
And it really does have a valid place. I'm still trying to work out where that is.
So for those of you watching, I'm going to put some of our test footage up on top of this video to show you what you can get from this sensor. For those of you listening, you're going to have to go over to YouTube to watch the clip about this to see that. And we're going to talk about our 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks we've had with this camera and what we feel about it. It's obvious to say it's exactly the same as the S1H from an image quality point of view because it's the same sensor.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Same 24 megapixel full frame sensor, same maximum 6K output, 14 stops of dynamic range, V-Log, 10-bit 422 if you want it. So you got that same S1H amazing image.
Okay.
More or less.
Get ready to draw that line. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. And spin the mic. So, yeah.
Yeah.
In-body image stabilization, though.
Right. Okay. So that's the first.
When they lost the
con.
screen, they did start losing other things.
So, obviously, as you pointed out earlier, this is the same form factor as the Micro Four Thirds BGH1.
Correct.
A box camera. Box cameras are kind of quite popular right now.
Well, it It was very popular for Panasonic by all accounts as well. The BGH1,
that's it,
was a banger for Panasonic.
Banger, absolutely. But the issue is when you start shrinking bodies down and trying to keep components the same size, especially a fourth frame sensor, you have to start losing some features that take up space. And in-body image stabilization takes up a lot of space. You've got to suspend that sensor.
Yeah.
So that's gone in favor of electronic stabilization only with L-mount lenses.
Correct.
Which for us,
no. You're left with a body
yes,
that is as good as the S1H and therefore likely to be Netflix approved as well.
Yep.
However, lacks all of the easy on the fly ability that the S1H offers. See how I had to avoid so carefully. Mark Holtz, you've just made it really difficult because I've had to avoid saying run and gun because I know you don't like it.
But there's part of this that is our personal preference and part of us trying to be more objective. Personally, as the two of us as shooters, we tend to be more run and gun. I'm just going to say it. Even when we're doing documentary stuff or even client work, there tends to be a lot of pick up and shoot as quickly as you can on the fly. Let's try and catch things behind the scenes, natural.
Very natural and very much POV stuff.
Yes.
And therefore,
they're my favourite kind of videos.
When you watch our footage, it feels like you were there. It feels very organic.
We try to make things that remove the barrier of filmmaking, so it feels like it is.
So with this, I'm talking about a camera that, because it hasn't got IBIS, I'm having to use with a Steadicam, or I'm having to use with a tripod.
Yes.
Okay. And when doing that, I'm not able to do the normal types of shots that I want to do. Partly because, imagine this on a Steadicam. I now need my monitor. How am I going to mount that? So it's either going to go as part of the Steadicam rig, or I'm going to mount a mobile phone on top of it on the Steadicam, and hopefully that works as part of my rig. However I adapt it, it's more bulky than how I'd normally address getting those shots. But I get a stabilised shot. All of that to get my stabilised shot. So maybe I'm using the wrong bit of kit for the job.
Potentially.
And I would say, you absolutely are. Then, using it with a tripod. Okay, no real issue there. I can put all of its ecosystem around it with monitoring, hard drive, bigger batteries, whatever I might want to bulk this setup with, I can do it on a tripod. No issue whatsoever. And do I normally get tripod shots? Of course I do. So in that scenario, no real issue. However, I don't get the feeling with this camera that I'm using it in its right format. I know it's meant for a certain niche and it's going to really scratch their back. It's going to be perfect for someone. But for me and the type of work that we do, I have struggled.
Every time I go to pick it up, I feel like I've got a hand tied behind my back. It's like it slows me down a little bit. Whereas with the S1H, I actually felt like it pushed me forwards.
Just to expand on that, it's things like using the monitor as the way to access parts of the settings. That just slows you down. Now, in a full production, I guess the saying is time's money, isn't it? That slowing down is, well, you just don't have room for it.
So in essence, what we're saying is if you are filming in a situation actually not dissimilar to what we're doing right now, it's a set studio shot that doesn't change.
Then I can't think of a better setup.
Exactly. Because you can put this in places you couldn't put an EVA. Because it's so small. And it's much more compact than an S1H. It makes a lot more sense.
I can't think of a better camera for multicam in like a podcast.
Yep.
It's going to be incredible for that.
Or like a fake TV, like a talk show.
And I very much doubt that's what they wanted people to be using it for. But for the entry price,
Yeah.
it's an incredible bit of kit.
So that's my next point then. This is £3,000, £2,999. The S1H is 3,600. So it's a £600 price difference between the two cameras, same sensor. On face value, that means the BS1H is a complete bargain.
Yeah.
You're getting that beautiful imaging sensor, Netflix approved, all the versatility that it has for filmmaking.
Takes amazing photos.
Well, obviously you can't do that on that, but for £600 less. And all you're really missing is iBiz for that £600. And a monitor and a hand grip. Yeah, okay. It's my point is does it make sense?
And
Is
didn't you
there a
say
place for
if
it?
you stream with this, it will only stream HD?
No, you can stream whatever you want. Point being is that the streaming platforms, Twitch doesn't take 4K.
Got you.
Twitch takes a maximum 1080 at 60, but only if you're an affiliate. YouTube, the same, you're streaming at 1080 60. So yeah, having a high resolution camera, obviously you're going to get a slightly better image at 1080. And also you can record at the same time at that high resolution for restreams or clips or whatever and have the better quality. But that feels like I'm spreading the justification quite thin at that point.
Yeah. What I would surmise is it's a beautiful bit of kit.
So,
and I really want to be the type of person that gets to film with kit that looks like this. You know how excited I was for like the red camera.
Yeah.
That Mark Holt's got.
He did, yes.
Who's a vintage camera nerd. If you're into vintage lenses, go search him on YouTube. Now, I was really into these because of red.
Yeah.
The form factor.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit less now.
So, a few things then. There's a definite advantage. You can use the AG VBR batteries. I think I actually put one into the desk there.
Yeah.
Which are the classic Panasonic chunky monkeys.
Yeah, they're
battery
great.
life for days. And a great thing with them is that they've not changed the connection. So if you've got an EVA, same batteries. You've got a Panasonic camcorder, like we got quite a few, same batteries. That's great because the S1H doesn't use these. It's like double the battery life of an S1H. And the S1H is no small battery. That's awesome. Cons though, £600 less. How much is it going to cost you to rig that? To being at the same place.
Assuming that you don't have all the bits that you'll need.
We reached out to Small Rig and said, can you send us the rigging for the BS1H? Because we're going to be covering it in detail. They said no. And I don't know if that's because they haven't got it or they didn't want to send it, but they did send a microphone and a light, which seemed peculiar. So is there even rigging available for it natively yet? There's a lot of mounting points, so you could make your own kind of Frankenstein thing.
Yeah, there's so much that you can do with this, but this isn't going to be for most of the people that certainly watch our channel.
No.
I'm pretty certain of our demographic based on the success of articles, based on the success of videos.
Yeah.
So this isn't going to suit most of them.
No.
And for that reason, it doesn't really suit me, if I'm honest.
That's fair.
It's all right using in the studio.
Yeah.
And the results are, well, really good.
Yep.
But are they massively different to anything else you've seen? And that's the thing. All of the Panasonic cameras are really good.
Yeah, I'd argue the S1 is probably the best value camera in their lineup. I think it's like £1,700.
It's ridiculous, yeah.
And with that firmware update, it's pretty much the same as the S1H. The S1H is obviously the Mac Daddy.
But let's face it,
in that form factor.
This is like twins.
Yeah.
Twin sisters.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both pretty much the same in many ways. But there's
I
always...
don't know where you go with this.
Well, inside and outside differences.
Right.
And the twins on the inside.
Yeah.
But on the outside, one's a bit fatter.
Oh. Okay, so Pete, you do own an EVA 1 and an S1H. Where does this sit, and is there room for it in your life, considering you have the full form factor cinema camera?
God. Okay, let's assume that I can keep this,
Yeah.
or I have wealth that means that if I want it, I'll just have it.
Yeah.
Right? I would have it in that scenario, and I'd just use it for multicam in podcasts, because locked off, it's incredible.
Yep, I hear you.
And having to work with it becomes... It's not difficult, but it's just slower.
It's slower. It is a little difficult.
So let put it this way. If I had more time, I would use it all the time.
Yeah.
If I had more time.
Yeah.
And I don't. And that's the issue. Just because for us, it's work.
Yeah.
So everything is accounted for. And I just don't have the time to play with something like that. And every time I'm on a job and I've gone to get little bits of B-roll for this, just slowed me down. But I'm frustrated. I'm so conflicted because I do really like it. I just don't have the time. So in the ecosystem, S1, S1H, absolutely lust for. Mm-hmm. They're incredible, and they kind of tick all the boxes. They suit everyone. Yeah, anyone can pick up an S1 or an S1H and produce pro footage photos. Yeah. Then the EVA. Mm-hmm. Now,
you chased after her for a long time.
A long time. If we're talking about twins, then she is the older.
I don't know why this became sexual somehow, but
you know, it got there.
Yeah.
The EVA is the one.
Yeah.
The EVA will do everything, but it's just maybe. It's bulkier than the S1H.
Yes.
For me, it fits more tasks.
Yeah, it's just more fully formed.
Yeah. Yeah.
But interesting, it has a smaller sensor, isn't it? Super 35.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. There's a bit of kit. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I love the S1s, the S1H. This kind of fits in there if you've got the time for it.
Well.
Would I keep it? No, send it back. I've just decided. No,
we're going to send it back. We're going to send it because they're going to want it back, and I don't want.
I know, but I like to make out there's a choice.
There's not a choice. No.